Someone down the wrong pipe. In case of emergency, please see the exits to your left, right, front, and center. And for those that have children under the ages of 13, this show does contain some instances of strong language. We hope you all
Hi, Miss.
Hello, everybody. It's my deepest pride and greatest pleasure to introduce to you the first person I ever hated in high school. Someone often seen singing and dancing with his earbuds in. My best friend and my ride or die, Charles Chipman.
No, sadly, I'm not Charles Chipman. Clearly. He flaked. He flaked his own show.
He left?
He literally flaked. He told me backstage that he just couldn't do it.
What are we gonna do?
We have to run the show. Without him, we have to run the show.
You know, I think we can do it.
Yeah. Oh, I brought my friend Ian. He's gonna help us run the show.
Yeah. What did the corn say when it was boiled?
What did it say? We need to know.
Aw, shucks. Even better. All right. I was out shopping,
You got shopping?
and then I realized I forgot the dish soap. But I didn't realize until I got home, but then it dawned on me.
Guys, let's have a professional handle this, okay?
Oh.
Okay. What happens when a fly doesn't have leaves? It's still a fly. It's a walk.
Oh! That's good right.
Okay. Here's even better. What do you get when you play tug of war with a pig? Pulled pork! Come on. You gotta mix it up a bit. Oh, okay. So, I was supposed to have a school with my mom. And then I go in and I find the perfect lobster in the tank. And so I say to my mom, Mother, I would most appreciate it if you purchased this lobster for me, so that I can free it back into the ocean. And you know what she said?
What'd she say?
Get a kick out of this. Oh, okay. Lobster? I barely know her. What the hell are you guys doing? I told Lucas I need to get some water. Don't start the show. I said that to him. And he said, yep, Charlie, I got you, man. You're coming out here trying to steal my show. Oh boy, all right. Got that good to go. Welcome everybody to 3, 2, 1 Showtime. Yeah! It's my absolute pleasure to have you here. This is such a crazy opportunity to have to make a whole comedy show. Wow! So, again, I just want to say thank you all for being here, because there is like so many more things you could do with your time, so much more productive things you could do, but you're here, and you're not allowed to leave. Lock the doors, Jacob! No, I'm kidding. So, all right, so, yeah, stand-up comedy show. It's, where do I start? Where do I start with something like this, man? Comedy is just so interesting and complex, and I don't want to get slapped in the face.
So, why didn't you do this for your project and not something more, like productive that could possibly contribute to society? Just wondering.
Well, thank you, random voice from the ceiling, and I will tell you why I'm doing this. because no one has stopped me.
Yeah.
For the next 20 to 50 minutes, I don't really know. I haven't time checked this enough. So, as I was saying, good place to start. I'll start with myself. I'm a very creative person, you know. I write. I listen to all kinds of weird stuff. I try to. I guess you could say I'm more of an English person than a math person. And you know, if you're an English person, good for you. If you're a math person, also good for you. They're both very good classes, very important classes to have and to take. Just some people click with it, some people don't with either one. And so, you know, with English, you get more like freedom. It's less organized. It's more just like do whatever you feel like. With math, it's more like regimented. 1, 2, 3, 4. 10, 9, 8, 4, 6. Again, yeah, writing person. And it wasn't until this year that I had the arguably best English class I've ever had in my life, creative writing, taught by our lovely Miss Blyer. I think she's here somewhere. Can we get a little round of applause for Blyer?
Yeah.
Anyway, so something I loved about this class was that it, as in the name, it allows you to get really creative with what you do. And part of that was giving us a daily writing prompt every day. It was always different. And I love these things. They're a really great way to start the day, and you can just make some fun stuff out of them. And something I loved about these was you'd always notice that like there's running trends. Also, just so I know, I have this here just because I'm not John Mulaney, please. But yeah, we would have daily prompts, and they were always really interesting. And I'd say like there are like running trends, and some of the ones that I noticed that I'd always see is that there'd be someone writing about their dog. There'd be someone writing about like a beautiful vista, like a what was it? Oh yeah, like a sunset or like a waterfall. There was always, you know, those two kids who wrote about how they just didn't want to be there and how they wanted to go home. You'd have the Lord of the Rings fantasy-esque sort of thing, where there's slaying of goblins and demons every morning. And then you have my personal favorite, the murder. Some poor schmuck suffering a terrible, terrible fate. But yeah, it was always interesting. Quick shout out to Jackson and Olivia for always making the most interesting prompts. I think they're here. Are you guys here? We got one. Anyway, and also shout out to Silas and Finn for always being honest about wanting to leave. Out of all the prompts we did, I have a definitive favorite because of what I got to do with it. So one day I go in and the prompt is, clearly you don't own an air fryer. Fairly prompt to start the day with. Submitted by Isaac Flood, a very chill guy. I don't know if he's here, and so, I don't know what was up with me that morning, but I woke up and I went to that prompt and something in me just hit different. So, I love this. I love what I wrote here. No one can tell me otherwise. And I love it because even after I showed this to Blyer, she let me read this out loud to the class, just like this. Music, hello? Oh, sorry. There we go. Your fries taste like shit. That's right, I'm talking to you, you dumb bitch. Sitting there on your old stinky couch with your bowl full of grease-drenched fries. Clearly, you don't have a brand new Air Daddy in your home. This high-tech, easy-to-use air fryer can cook up your terribly cooked potatoes in minutes. Did you hear that part? It's easy to use, which means anyone of any age can use it. Even sad middle-aged men who just sit in their shitty apartment scrolling through Reddit every day instead of getting a job. All you need to do to get cooking is select one of these presets: frozen, meat, fish, or chicken. Want to get creative with your Air Daddy and cook some sort of utter abomination? You can even set your own temperature and frying time to cook whatever the hell you feel like. These perfectly cooked jalapeno peppers are so delicious, even your ex-wife Monica can't get enough of them. Look, she even brought the cans past their allotted visiting hours to get in on the tastiness. Better yet, Air Daddy's lack of oil makes it eco-friendly. You'll feel you can contribute just a little bit less to the warming climate that's slowly killing the planet every second of every day. so you can fly away to your heart's content without setting off the smoke alarm for the third time this week and getting chewed out by your landlord. So get off your fat ass and pick up that phone and your Air Daddy today for only $39.99 at this number. Again, that's $39.99 at this number, as well as local retailers. Hurry up, asshole! Aloud to the class, I got to read it with that exact music. That was one of the greatest moments of my life. Now guys, I have to admit, a very serious problem that I have, it affects my day-to-day life, and I'm sure maybe it affects some of you too, some of you as well. I'm a procrastinator, like a really, really bad one. Like for this project, I wrote in, I want to get better with like time management and I want to reduce procrastination. Because I thought, oh yeah, that'd be great, I could totally do that. And I plan to get this one book by Brian Tracy, Eat That Frog. And needless to say, I procrastinated buying the book until like halfway into the first week of the project. The Amazon guy clearly procrastinated giving me my book because it came like 3 days late, and to today, I have not picked up that book once. It is sitting on my shelf at home, collecting dust, and probably won't be open for another like 30 years. So what's something that other comedians talk about? Oh, okay. Love life. All right, this is gonna be good.
Oh yeah! Oh yeah!
I'll just keep the part short because no one really wants to hear too much about some 18-year-old's love life. So I'll just keep the part nice and brief. My love life. Well, that's about enough of that. So, bit of a weird transition here, but if we're going to talk about myself, let's focus on where I come from. What are my roots? I'll start with my dad. My dad is a very interesting character because all my life he's always been this big goof, and it's really funny when you put up with it. After 18 years, it becomes funny. For the first 10 years, it's going to be really annoying. But I think I recently finally figured out where that goofiness comes from, and it comes from this inner child that he has within him. And this inner child, it's grown up with me. And so when I was younger, when I was 10, that inner child was 5 and had just very it had very simple things. He'd be like, you like unicorns and dresses. That's what he would do to me all the time. And as a kid, I was like, but now that I'm 18, that inner child is now around 13. And I'm sure all of you know, 13-year-olds, that's when we start to learn our swear words and stuff. And so combine the 13-year-old with the fact that I'm now okay with him swearing around me all the time, he just does it whenever he damn feels like it. So sometimes I'll just be sitting in my room doing work, and then this will happen. He'll just come into my room like this. What the? Are you doing? Either that, or this is the other thing he'll do. He'll come into my room and this is my chair. Just kick my chair, right? And I turn around and it'll be like, what's that for? And he just walks away like this. That's the most 13-year-old thing I've ever seen in my life. And you'd think that he'd be able to keep this to as a private thing. He only does this kind of stuff at home. You'd be wrong. We were in, a couple months ago, we went to see some stuff in New York City, and we were in Manhattan, and not that Manhattan is a bad place, but anytime you're in a city, you always want to look like you know what's going on. You don't want to look too much like a tourist. You want to have a clear idea of where you're going, how you're going to get there, what you might see, what you might not see. So we're just walking along, me and my stepmom and my stepsister, we're walking just fine, just chilling, Oh, hey, look, trash. Oh, hey, look, street performer. Oh, hey, look, I don't even know what the hell that is. So we're going along just fine, but my dad's in the background, just going, oh, look at a tiny Christmas balls. Oh, you never seen nothing like that back in Maine. I'm the buddy Whipple Maine. You hear that? Whipple Maine. And we just have to keep walking around with him for like 4 hours, just like, we can't leave him. We just gotta keep going. He'll get lost, and then we'll never see him again. We just gotta keep going. There's no other option. Alright, that's probably about enough of my dad. Let's talk about my mom. Nessa's in love with my mom, if you can't tell. So, my mom, she's great. She's done such a good job of taking care of me over the past few years, or past 18 years. I don't know why I said it like that. But she's taught me a lot, and I'm very grateful to have her. But sometimes she just says and does things that make me question her sanity just a little bit. For example, a little over a year ago, I got my second COVID shot. And can we just get like a little hand raise for who that knocked out? Who had their second COVID shot and it just took them out the next day?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you, person in the audience. I didn't see who that was, but thank you. So yeah, it's the day after, which was also Mother's Day. And I'm just sitting and I'm just stuck in bed the whole day, just like, please God, kill me. And so, my mom's being fine, you know. I felt so bad though, because it's Mother's Day and I'm looking at Instagram when I'm not like throwing up, and everyone's going like, oh, I'm out with my mother, it's Mother's Day, oh, I'm so grateful to be doing stuff today. And meanwhile, I'm just in bed craving death. And I essentially said that to my mom like I messaged her like 5 times, like, Mom, I'm so sorry, I'm so sick. I'm gonna make it up to you next year. And I swear, it was the 5th time she looked me dead in the eyes and she goes, Charlie, the fact that you're so sick is the greatest Mother's Day gift I could ask for. Because it means you have a good immune system. I didn't know how to take that because I was like, well, firstly, it's kind of a compliment saying that, like, I have a good immune system, but who goes to someone and be like, hey, yo, you're like feeling like shit. You must have a really good immune system. Oh, good for you, buddy. But yeah, another thing that has made me question sanity and my mother is we went to see Hadestown months back in Boston. It was a great show. We had a great time. We saw the tour cast, which had Kevin Moreau, this like tall, chiseled, like salt and pepper beard, just like deep voice, just big dude. And he was really good. He was really good at his role. And something about him flicked a switch on my mom. So it's like 3 days later, we're just hanging around the house, you know. I'm saying how like I really enjoyed the show, and she's saying like, oh my god, yeah, I had a great time as well. And we're talking about the characters. And I say to her, like, you know, I really liked the guy that was playing Hermes. What was his name? And I had my playbill, and I think, Levi Crease, that's who was playing it. I apologize, Levi, if I said your name wrong. But yeah, so I go, oh yeah, I thought he was really good. And then my mom goes, oh yeah, he was nice, but who played Hades? So I look at my playbill again, I go, Kevin Moreau. And also I just want to preface this is close to Christmas time. So she just goes, oh, Kevin Moreau. Oh, I want him under the Christmas tree. But wait, there's more. It's about like 2 months ago, and me and Mom were just driving around town, doing whatever, and I was looking at my Instagram at the Hadestown like Instagram account. I'm seeing that like, oh, the original guy, Andre de Shields, who's playing Hermes, is having his last show actually yesterday. Like it actually was yesterday. And she goes, and she's just like, oh yeah. And 3, 2, 1. I see something. See that switch in her. She's just like driving along, and then she just goes, so when are we gonna go see my boyfriend again? If Kevin Moreau ever goes missing, talk the FBI and make my mom an immediate POI, because that is some crazy kidnapper shit if I've ever heard it. Hydration.
Woo!
Woo! Hydration! Water! Woo! friends, now let's lay into them a little bit, because I know a lot of them are here. Let's start with my theater friends. My theater friends, if you're here, I love you. You're all amazing. I have a saying that I hold pretty true, that if you meet someone who's a theater kid, there is a good 80 to 85% chance that they are a badass person that you should hang out with, you should talk with, you should be friends with, and just you should have them in your life. That like 15 to 20%, they exist, we don't talk about them. Simple as that. But you, Leon. But anyway, so theater kids are great, and something you'll notice about them is that they're very, like, especially when you group us together, we're very encouraging of each other. We're very, like, quick to give each other compliments and stuff. Sometimes to an extreme. For example, I was a sophomore, and we were doing the show Xanadu, the fall musical, and there's this guy I really looked up to, Parker. Yeah, probably a couple people remember Parker. And so I really looked up to Parker, and so, but one day he just said the weirdest thing to me. So I'm standing like right over here, right, like down here in the pit, and I do this to my friends. I like pull my shirt back to be like, oh hey, look everybody, I have man boobs. I don't have confidence in my body. But either way, so Parker apparently sees me do this, and this is what he does, verbatim, and I'll never forget it. He just does this. Hey, Charlotte, you got a serious pair of man boobs, but that's okay. I got a pair too. And then he just walks off. You can't just walk up to someone and say, hey, I think you have nice boobs, and walk away. You can't just do that to someone. Like, I appreciate the compliment, but I don't need compliments on my moves, okay? I don't need that in my life. So since we're talking about a couple specific people, I might as well bring up one of the most important people that I've met through theater, and that is my wonderful best friend, Mez. Could you come out for a little round of applause? And now, as Mez said in the opening, this is completely true. They did hate me at first, and that's quite the interesting story. We first met when we were doing Big Fish, the fall musical that we did in 2018. And I might have procrastinated checking my email for the auditions. And so I might have been 2 weeks late to the production. And so, yeah, you're going into a new school, into a new big theater group, and you're 2 weeks late. Not the best first impression, especially for an anxious freshman. That's terrible. So I go in, because like our lovely director, Miss Safley, even though I went to her 2 weeks late, she was like, oh yeah, come on in, you'll fit perfectly. So I go in, and it's about like 40 to 50 people that I do not know at all. And so I'm a little bit freaked out, a little bit nervous, and I figure I need to make a good first impression. So the song we were working on that day, Showdown, Saf needed someone to say a single line. That was 2 words. 2 words. Those words, sorry. And those 2 words were damn right. That was it. And she needed just someone to say, like, during as we were dancing along, to say, damn right! So I figure, you know what? I've kind of come in late. I should do my best to make a good first impression. So I raise my hand and I get the line. And I thought that it would be perceived as, oh, you know, he made a mistake, he's late, but he's now here and he's gonna do his best to try and be a part of this. According to Mez, though, it came across somewhat more like, yo, what's up, you basic theater bitches? I walk in 2 weeks late and I get a line on my first day. What are you gonna do about it? I asked Mez for this when I was writing the script, like, what was your first, first phrase that you thought of me? And Mez responded, that male privilege ass bitch! 2 weeks later, we somehow became friends, and now they are one of the biggest people in my life, and I love them, and I could not imagine my life without them. How does that happen? Anyway, I should not be tight. I need to drink from that later. But now, Mez and I have this. We have sort of a running joke that they're short. They're short, and I'm not short. So what I would do to them all the time is I just like whatever like Starbucks cup they have, I just take and I hold it over my head, and then they can't reach it, and it was always the funniest thing to me, just watching them like try to like jump up like I can get it, come on, but it just never happened, and it was the funniest thing to me. Just like, I'm just like, haha, short, you were short, oh man. Mez has never been a fan of that joke, so yeah. Apologize now when my hair is kind of iffy. I did not think of that when I wrote that, but anyway. So I'll tell one more story about my friends that I love. So, something I love to do, and something I'm sure all of you love to do, is you love to recommend things to your friends. Like just like a show, a movie, a book, whatever. And I personally feel that there's like a certain etiquette that should be had when you're trying to recommend something to someone. It should just be like short, sweet, to the point. Months ago, I recommended Arcane to one of my friends, Nina, because it's a good show. And I just said like, listen, it's got good characters, good animation, good songs, good fights. That's all you need to know. And they watched it, and I liked it. And I was like, sweet. But apparently, I thought that more people would have that same thought process. I was wrong. I was in my choir class one day, and we were talking about like what songs we were going to be doing for like the spring cabaret that we had, and everyone was saying, "Oh, we're gonna do. We don't talk about Bruno from Encanto. Oh, it's so good, it's so good, it's so good." And I just like I popped my head in, just like. I've actually never watched the movie, and this was essentially their reaction, just... You what? You haven't watched it? What do you mean you haven't watched it? How could you not have watched it? What's wrong with you? You were watching it this weekend, whether you like it or not! And needless to say, I was a little bit spooked by that. So to this day, as like spite, I have not watched the movie, and I do not intend to watch it anytime soon. But it's my ultimate revenge. So, this is a bit of a weird transition, but on the topic of people in my life, kind of, I work at Hanford. I work at Hanford in Yarmouth. I'm a to-go shopper, so I get people's groceries, and it's a good place to work. It's very quiet, very calm. Nothing much happens, but in like the good way, where like we don't get like middle-aged women screaming at our cashiers, like, "What do you mean this coupon isn't working? What do you mean you want me to leave?" We don't really get much of that, and I'm very thankful for that. But sometimes we do get interesting characters. For example, one time I was pretty new to the job, and I got the job because I wanted to get better at like being around people, because I was going through COVID at the time, and I didn't have a lot of human interaction in my life at that point. So I'm just going about my order, and then I hear from the aisle. I'm intrigued, but also nervous. I look over, and there's just a lady in the aisle doing this. You're tall! Can you help me get this? I just can't reach it. You can't just do that to someone, especially a customer service worker, because they're gonna think that you're coming to rip their head off. Like, imagine you're just like sitting in like a pre-calc class or something, and then you just hear, "Miss Soul! You understand trigonometric equations! Can you help me figure this out? I just don't know what to do. I can't figure out where to move that." Just not cool. Gotta have respect for customer service workers, because probably a lot of them are very socially anxious. As I'm sure many of you know, a staple of customer service jobs is screaming children. Whether you like them or not, they are there. They always have been there, and they always will be. This is, so one time I'm going around the produce section, and there's this dad wheeling his two kids, or this grandpa actually wheeling his two grandkids around, and they're having what I like to call a scream-off, where the kids see who can scream the loudest, the longest, and at the highest pitch at the other one. For example, now imagine that back and forth for more than 5 minutes, and you want to rip your ears off. And the weird thing to me was that the grandpa, he was so calm about it. So calm. He literally looked over to the guy who was standing next to him. And he just goes, "Kids, am I right?" I don't know how you keep so much composure under something like that. Like, I know if it were me, this is what would have happened. Kids, listen, okay, we can't be doing this in the store, so we're gonna play one more round, and Daddy's gonna play this time. And if Daddy wins, we all have to be quiet and stop playing the game. All right, ready? 3, 2, 1. Okay, Daddy wins, shut up now. Into the book of screaming children. There was this one day, this dad wheeling around his daughter, and this dad looked like he was having a rough morning, day, week, couple months, 7 years. He wasn't looking very good. And that would probably be because his daughter, who's sitting in the cart, woke up that morning, and I can only assume she woke up and said, "Today, I'm gonna be a bird." Because as she's being wheeled around the store, she's just going, and anytime he tries to talk to her, she just goes, just trying to like speak in bird language or something, I don't know. And so one of the guys behind the meat counter sees this, and he has this big brain genius idea. He goes over to them and he goes, "Hey, do you want to see one of the lobsters from the tank?" And you can see like a little glimmer come in the dad's eyes. He's like, "Oh, maybe this will get her to shut up. Oh my God." So they go over to the tank, and sure enough, takes out a lobster, opens the tank, takes out a lobster, and silence. It was amazing. Everyone collectively just had this like sigh of relief, just like, oh, finally it stopped. And then she started again. And she kept on going for another 15 minutes. And I cannot tell you how bad I felt, not only for the dad, but for the meat department guy, because he had this like, he just had to watch this plan he had, this golden like trophy, just crumble into dust before his very eyes. And you know, despite what I've been saying about like crazy customers, I do like get like little moments that just like make things worth it. For example, one time I'm out doing carts, and I just happened to see a grown man riding a cart like a kid would, just like, whee! And, just like that. Okay, so this has to be my favorite story from working at Hannaford for almost 2 years. So again, this is when I'm like relatively new to the job, and I don't really know where things are. So I'm going around looking for a certain brand of frozen meatballs, and I don't know where they are. So I go to one of the meat department guys, Chris, and Chris was really cool. He's like, hey, he has a U-boat full of boxes that he's stocking, and I go, where do I find these? And he looks at them, and he goes, oh, I got some right here. So he finds the box, cuts it open, and takes the bag and gives it to me. I don't think you're getting a very good visual. Ian, could you, yeah, thank you, buddy. All right, so Ian here is going to be the U-boat. This is the box of meatballs, and I'm Chris. So I've just been like, oh yeah, I got you. So I find the box, and I like cut into it. Oh yeah, I forgot. He does this like Jackie Chan, sort of Bruce Lee, like, whoo, boom. Here you go. Can we get a clean up the meat section? Can we get a clean up the meat section, please? Yep, thank you guys. Yep, and don't the box, yep. Right. Off he goes, off he goes. Sorry, Maddie. So, that's about what I have. We're nearing the end of the show. I hope you all have had a good time. I hope you've all at least had a laugh, and if not a laugh, just like a little And I know I said this in the opening, but I really do appreciate all of you coming out here to take the time to see this show because, you know, something that's always impressed me about comedy in general is how, like, look around you. Look and see who you're sitting near, who you might be sitting across from. It might be people you know, you're friends with. It could be people you're even like having beef with or something, right? But despite that, you're here in this very room together, laughing. Do you realize how incredible that is? To be able to get so many people of whatever backgrounds into one place and to be having a good time together. When I started this project, I was about 3 days in, and I was getting some lunch from Lily's Stand, which is like a little mini run. Yeah! If you have not been there, go. This is not a request, it's a demand. It's right behind Starbucks. Can't miss it, it's delicious. But I'm standing in line, and Mr. Harper, one of my teachers from before I went on the project, he goes by with his class, because he's cool and he takes his class like out to town and like to Starbucks and stuff. He spoils us. But, and he just goes by me and he's like, oh, hey Charlie, you sure look like you're doing work on your project, man. I was like, dude, I'm just trying to get my lunch. Can I just get my lunch? But anyway, so he goes off, and then the guy who's sitting behind me, he goes, oh, is that one of your teachers? And I go, yeah, I go to the high school that's down there. And he goes, wait, where's the high school? And I point like, it's all the way down there. And he goes, oh, I'm not from around here, so I don't really know. And I look at his place real quick. He's from New Jersey. And so he asked me like, so wait, are you like, what's the deal with your teacher and you being here? And I tell him about like how senior projects work. And he goes, oh, that's cool. So what are you doing? And I say, I'm making a short stand-up comedy show. And he just goes, dude, nice. What's some of your material? And I go, and I tell him the meatballs thing, you know, and I kind of semi-demonstrate the I kind of demonstrate that. And he starts laughing and laughing and laughing, and he just like gives me like a fist bump, and he's like, dude, that is so cool, good luck. And it just amazed me how he was a complete stranger from a different state, standing in line for chicken fried noodles. And it was just like we were buds who hadn't seen each other for a long time, that like friendliness, that warmness. And that's when I kind of realized that, firstly, I wanted to have this monologue here to trap you all for a little bit longer, but that's when I realized, like, comedy has so much power that we kind of forget about sometimes, because sometimes we either just take it too literally or we just take it too seriously, and we kind of forget that comedy at its core is a thing for us to come together and to just be able to laugh and enjoy this time that we have together on this mortal plane. So, I cannot request enough that as you leave tonight, as you're leaning off this like little temporary piece that I say the power of comedy has given us, just try to be cool with each other, you know? Talk to someone, maybe just like do your own thing, just like be cool with each other and enjoy that we have this nice little bit of time left before we go back to our, I'm sure, crazy, hectic lives where things are always kind of on fire. Because, you know, at the end of the day, comedy, I feel, gives us that nice little break from our problems, from problems in the world, and it just gives us that, it gives us that nice little bit of time. And especially nowadays, that's something we all could really use. Thank you for coming.
Whoa!